Okay, just as your instructions say at the top of your page, you're going to open up your Chromebooks and you're going to go to Canvas. And today what we're going to do is do some applied skills online practice. We're not asking you to do any math today. We are simply asking you to enter what is on the paper already. So you have already been given a paper that has all of the answers, and all we're asking you to do is not do the math, but enter the math that's on your paper into the computer correctly. So in order to do so, we need to kind of go over some instructional pieces. So the first thing you need to do is go to Canvas, and then from the calendar or from your assignments of your math class, you're going to go to the Applied Skills Online Practice. So you're going to click on the Applied Skills Online Practice, and an assignment is going to pop up, and it's going to explain that yes, this is a quiz, and you know what, we're holding you accountable for some pretty important things. You are going to receive a grade for this, and just as Mr. Harsha will explain on the announcements, it's really important that you're practicing this. We don't want you to lose points because you don't know how to enter anything from what's on your paper into the computer. And really that's all we're doing, is making sure that what you have, what we know you know how to do from the paper is into the computer appropriately. And so we're just going to go over a couple of the things that you need to review in doing this. So this video will also be a link here, so if you ever need to come back and watch this video again, we'll have this link available for you so you can look at it anytime. But you're going to click on this online practice page, and it's going to take you to TestNav. Now, we've been to TestNav a couple of times. This is where the practice has occurred, and this is where we're going to be doing the practice. You're not going to be typing in any username or password. You're going to go down to the bottom right hand corner where it says experience. So I want you to click on the word experience, and it's going to give you a menu of a variety of things. I want you to scroll down to the math equation editor practice forms. So, and we're in grade 7 or grade 8, so you're going to go, not the writing prompt. The writing prompt is different. We're between grades 6 through 8, math equation editor. That's where you need to be going. And we're going to go ahead and hit start. Now, this is exactly the kind of information that how you're going to have to enter the problems that you've done on paper. And so we're practicing simply, how do I put the information, the question that I have already solved, this paper, how do I put the information from this into this silly question? So in addition to solving this, you don't have to solve it, you just have to enter from what's on the paper into the computer. You also have to make sure that you're accurate. I do want to show you a few other symbols. So there is a scientific calculator on here. So if you get to the point that you need a scientific calculator, that is here. And to change a number to negative, you use this plus minus symbol that's here in the bottom left-hand corner. And every time I click it, it changes from a positive to a negative. This scientific calculator also has the pi button. It does not, as you can see, allow you to type in fractions. So that is something you're going to have to figure out on your own. You don't necessarily need the ruler, but let's say you want to highlight problems. So let's say I have to solve this problem. You can highlight it just like you would, and then simply click on it. That'll show you. It's the exact same testing program that we have practiced on before. But what we're focusing on is, how do I type in the math pieces? How do I use this kind of thing? So I want you to see there is a pi symbol. There is a square root symbol. This is for fractions or mixed numbers. If you get to the point where you need to determine, especially when there's equations or variables on both sides, and it says how many solutions are there, and you're saying that it's not equal, you get to the point where it says 5 is not equal to -8, you can use the not equal symbol. This is not a positive or negative sign. That's something you're not going to be needing. So this one is a negative sign. And it's nice that it shows you these things. It also, if you click on this arrow, it will also open up the opportunity for you to include greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than and equal to symbols. And you probably won't need the geometry piece at all. So at least you know where's the less than, greater than, and equal to symbols, as well as pi, square roots. This is if you needed to put into a power. So let's say I needed to put 7 to the third power. I could type in, I would click that button, then type in 7 and put a 3, and that gives me 7 to the third power. Here's my trash. I'm going to put it in the trash. All right. So we're going to be asking you to simply put everything that is in this, on your paper, into this box. And sometimes you're going to have to fill out an you could see here, it says an equation. On question number 2 for today, you're going to fill in that equation. But right now, this one is simply going to ask you to show all work in the box. So the question says, how many solutions does the equation have? Show all work and justify your response with words, numbers, or symbols. Oh my goodness. So the first thing we always do, and all of your teachers have asked you to do, is to copy the problem into the where you show your work. All right, so how do I type that in? Well, I've got 2/3, so I need to type in my fraction button, and then I'm going to put my 2 over my 3. Okay, we're good there. 2/3. Now I've got parentheses. Let's see what happens. Where do I put? Oh, you know what? My parentheses is just going to be Shift 9. And it goes ahead and it gives you these kind of parentheses. Don't worry about it. We're just going to keep working through. Inside my parentheses, I need to put 3x minus 6. And then plus, oh wait, that's an equal sign. So you're going to hit the backspace button. You have to shift at the same time. Plus 4x equals 6x minus 4. Okay, pretty simple. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now, on our paper, it shows that there's some work to the side. So there's some work over here off to the side, right here. We still have to show that work. Just because it's off to the side on our paper doesn't mean we don't have to show it. So that's where we're going to start first. So we're going to show that we did 2/3, and that's showing our distributing, that we're multiplying, that we understand that we have to multiply. We're going to do 2/3 times, oh good. Now, I want a fraction there, so then I'm going to hit my fraction button again. All right, good. Times 3 over 1. Now, I'm not going to have to show my cross canceling. I can simply do my equal symbol. The cross canceling was the work that we're going to show on our paper, which is why we do everything on our paper, but we are going to show that it is equal to 2. Then we're going to do that again for the other side of the work. So we've got 2/3 times button, fraction button, 6 over 1. Now, if you don't know where those numbers came from, remember we're multiplying 2/3 times 3 and the 2/3 times the -6. Actually, so there should be a -6. So let's change it to a -6. All right, cross cancel, and our answer should be, oops, now see, sometimes the machine does things like this. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach it to you now. It's called the undo button. So there is no undo. This might work, and it did. Let's say for some reason it didn't work. There is a shortcut. Control Z is a shortcut, and that's an undo button. And we can do that step by step by step. We can undo all the way back as far as we want to. So in case you make a mistake, you can always hit the undo button. Oh, well, I typed in -4. It didn't like that. So we have to be patient. Sometimes it's not going to show up the way we want it to, and we just have to work with it. So, because 2/3 times 3 is 2, that's going to become 2x. Now you also have to be mindful about how much space you show in your work. So sometimes it can be visually overwhelming if you've got too much work. So make sure you're paying attention as you're doing your work. Sometimes you need to add an extra enter. Okay, so 2/3 times 3x is going to be 2x minus 4, because that's going to be a -4. It's the same thing. Plus 4x. Don't forget your shift sign in order to get that plus. 4x equals, now I'm keeping the rest of the problem the same, because as you can see on your paper, the rest of the equation is the same. Now what I've done on the next line of text is just combine like terms. So when I combine like terms, I'm simply combining my 2x and my 4x, which gives me 6x minus 4 equals 6x minus 4. Now some of you might say, you can stop right there. Well, let's follow the distribute, combine like terms and variables on both sides, and move to the variables to the one side first. So how am I going to show that? Well, we always do the opposite operation, right? Or add the opposite. So if I'm working on this side, I would normally move everything to the left, right? So I'm going to be, what's the opposite of 6x? The opposite of 6x is going to be negative 6x. So, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Now the spacing is going to get a little off. So sometimes you have to use the arrow button. That's what I was using here. And it was kind of messing with me. Sometimes you have to hit the space button, and sometimes I will add the negative 6x and it's not going to look right. So I'm going to have to move my arrow back over and then move my space bar. But I want to show that whatever I'm doing to one side, I'm also doing to the other. And I'm also needing to show that I know that I'm moving this 6 to the other side by doing the opposite operation. All right, then I'm left with negative 4 equals negative 4. Now, that seems like a true statement. Wait, when there's a negative 4 equal to negative 4, then how many solutions are available? Well, there are infinitely many solutions. It says that right there on the paper. It says, but that's like typing. Yes, I'm expecting you to type. So now you're going to actually type. Since negative 4 equals negative 4 is a true statement, then there are infinitely and spelling doesn't matter, which is nice, but it is on the paper, infinitely many solutions. And we would need to check to make sure that we have answered all the parts on the question and that we have everything in that part, which it appears as though we have. We've included our fractions, we've got all of our work shown from the paper, and we have justified our response with words, numbers, or symbols. All right, so now the question becomes, what do I do now? So normally you'd go on to the next question, but you're getting a grade for this, so you have to show that you've had this done. So now you have to take a screenshot of this to show your work. So it's going to require 2 screenshots. I'm going to show you how to do the screenshot first. You're going to hit the control button. There's 2 different controls on your keyboard. There's one here and there's one here. You're going to use the control and then this button here, that's the box with the 3 or the 2 lines next to it. So you're going to hold the control button and click that at the same time. And when that happens, it says screenshot taken. I want you to hit the copy to clipboard. Now, if you were to go back to the assignment, from the assignment, we're going to hit resume. And this hasn't uploaded yet, and I apologize, but I'll show you this part anyway. To submit an assignment, you're simply going to hit the browse button that's here. So you're going to hit the browse button, and then your windows are going to show up, and you can see that there was a screenshot taken, and that tells you the time. It helps if you change your date modified. If for some reason you're having troubles finding it, you can see that that's the most recent one. If it's showing up from My Drive, it will not show up there, so you're going to have to sometimes click on the downloads. But then when you click on that, you're going to hit open, and that's going to show the screenshot.